The day began like any other. Commuters crowded into subways, families hustled through morning routines, and the endless hum of the internet dominated the attention of billions. Across the planet, humans were engrossed in their usual affairs: stock markets, sports updates, viral videos, and arguments over meaningless trivia. No one could have guessed that an unprecedented event was about to unfold. At precisely 9:47 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the sky above every major city on Earth shimmered with an unearthly light. The air grew thick with an almost imperceptible vibration, like the low hum of a far-off engine. Then, without warning, a colossal holographic projection appeared, suspended in the atmosphere as if defying the laws of physics. The figure in the projection was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Towering and regal, the alien was humanoid but far from human. Its skin shimmered like molten metal, a swirling mix of silver and gold. A crown-like apparatus adorned its head, emitting faint streams of energy that crackled and hissed in the surrounding air. It was clad in a sleek suit of armor, polished to a mirror-like finish, and adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and writhe. Behind it, banners of a strange, glowing script fluttered, though there was no wind to move them. "People of Earth," the figure began, its voice resonating not through sound but directly within the minds of every living human. It was deep and commanding, carrying an authority that brooked no defiance. "I am High Executor Turvok of the Zarnak Galactic Empire." The words, though alien, were instantly understood by all. Humanity had no choice in the matter. The Zarnak's message bypassed language and comprehension barriers, implanting itself directly into the brain. "You have been judged," Turvok continued, his glowing eyes sweeping across the world as though he could see every human directly. "For centuries, your species has operated outside the bounds of galactic law. You have polluted your world, spread chaos across your domain, and failed to heed the signals of a greater civilization. You were offered a chance to join the Zarnak Empire and partake in the glory of our eternal dominion. Yet you have ignored this offer." His tone grew harsher, colder. "By decree of the Supreme Sovereign, you are hereby declared enemies of the Empire. Your defiance shall not go unpunished. As of this moment, the Zarnak Galactic Empire formally declares war on the people of Earth. Prepare yourselves, for annihilation is nigh." The message ended as abruptly as it began. The hologram dissolved into a cascade of golden sparks that evaporated into the atmosphere. For a moment, there was silence. Then in the streets, in offices, in homes, humanity's collective reaction began. The first wave of responses was confusion. People craned their necks skyward, scanning for drones or projectors that might have cast the image. Others pulled out their phones, desperately refreshing news feeds and social media platforms for answers. Had anyone else seen it? Was it a global event or localized? Within minutes, the internet exploded with speculation. A live stream of the projection from New York City went viral, gaining millions of views in under an hour. Twitter hashtags like #ZarnakWar, #AlienInvasion, and #FakeCGI trended worldwide. A flood of memes appeared almost instantly. A still image of High Executor Turvok with the caption, "Bro thinks he's the final boss." A doctored clip from an old action movie, spliced with Turvok's declaration, ending with the words, "Earth wins again." Someone edited a photo of Turvok to wear sunglasses, adding the caption, "Nice speech. Try harder next time." The second wave of responses came from world governments. Within hours of the holographic broadcast, leaders convened emergency meetings. The United Nations issued a cautious statement, acknowledging the event and urging calm. Scientific communities scrambled to analyze the strange energy patterns left in the sky. Militaries across the globe quietly went on high alert, deploying satellites and scrambling fighter jets, though no immediate threat was detected. But beyond the corridors of power, life on Earth continued much as it always had. After the initial burst of curiosity, most people shrugged off the event as either a hoax or something too absurd to take seriously. "It's just a prank, bro," declared one viral TikTok video, featuring a teenager wearing a makeshift alien costume and mocking Turvok's speech. Like, who even has time to declare war on Earth? A prominent conspiracy theorist released a YouTube video claiming that the hologram was a psyop orchestrated by global elites to justify increased defense spending. "Wake up, people," he shouted, his voice rising to a fever pitch. "This is just another way for them to keep us in fear and control us." Meanwhile, late-night comedians had a field day. "So, apparently, the Galactic Empire wants to destroy us," one joked. I mean, can you blame them? Have they seen reality TV? Even in the newsrooms, the Zarnak Declaration was quickly relegated to the back burner. A celebrity divorce scandal dominated headlines, and the announcement of a new tech product took precedence on the morning shows. In the days that followed, skepticism only grew. Experts appeared on talk shows, offering plausible explanations for the event. A digital marketing professor from Stanford speculated it was a viral campaign for an upcoming sci-fi blockbuster. A physicist suggested it might be a natural phenomenon misinterpreted as an alien message. "You have to understand," the physicist said, adjusting her glasses, "humans are pattern-seeking creatures. If we see something inexplicable, we assign it meaning. But this could just as easily be an atmospheric anomaly or an elaborate technological prank." Despite the skepticism, some people took the warning seriously. Survivalists began stockpiling supplies, certain that an alien invasion was imminent. Gun shops reported a spike in sales. Online forums dedicated to extraterrestrial theories buzzed with activity, their members debating the best strategies for resisting an advanced alien force. Yet for the vast majority of humanity, the event became little more than a footnote in their daily lives. People went back to work, binge-watched their favorite shows, and debated trivial topics online. The High Executor's Grand Declaration, the culmination of centuries of Zarnak doctrine and conquest, had been met not with fear, panic, or even outrage, but with a collective shrug. High above Earth, aboard the Imperium's raft, High Executor Turvok gazed at the blue and green planet below. He had expected panic, chaos, perhaps even immediate surrender. Instead, his declaration seemed to have barely registered with the inhabitants of this strange world. "Executor," said Admiral Vellner, his second-in-command, "the humans, they do not appear to be reacting as anticipated." Turvok frowned. "What are their leaders doing?" "We have intercepted their communications. They are debating among themselves. But most of their population seems indifferent to our presence." "Indifferent?" Turvok's golden eyes narrowed. "Have they no concept of the power they face? Do they not realize the doom that awaits them?" "It seems," Vellner said hesitantly, "that they do not take us seriously, Executor." Turvok's fist clenched, the metal plating of his gauntlet groaning under the strain. "No matter," he said coldly. "Their apathy shall be their undoing. Prepare the fleet for a demonstration of our might. We will show them why the Zarnak Empire is feared across the galaxy." As the Executor turned to give the order, the planet below remained unchanged. Lights twinkled in sprawling cities. Traffic flowed along highways, and humans went about their lives, blissfully unaware or entirely unconcerned about the galactic storm brewing above them. High Executor Turvok stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Imperium's raft, staring intently at the blue planet that spun peacefully below. His golden eyes burned with frustration. For centuries, the Zarnak Galactic Empire had been the uncontested superpower of the known universe, spreading its dominion to thousands of worlds and assimilating billions of beings. Resistance was rare, and surrender almost always came swiftly after the Empire's declarations of war. But Earth was different. The humans, this primitive, chaotic species, were acting as if his ultimatum was little more than background noise. "Admiral Vellner," Turvok barked, breaking the uneasy silence on the bridge. "Status report." The Admiral, a seasoned warrior with a scar running across his crystalline face, bowed respectfully. "Executor, The humans have shown no signs of mobilization. Their governments appear divided. Their military forces remain on standby, and their civilians. Vellner hesitated, as if the words he was about to utter were beyond comprehension. Continue, Turvok commanded, his voice sharp. Their civilians appear uninterested in our presence. Our intelligence units report that the majority of their population is more concerned with trivial matters, entertainment, commerce, and personal conflicts. Some even believe our declaration to be a form of performance art. Performance art? Turvok repeated, the phrase foreign and distasteful on his tongue. Do they not grasp the magnitude of our fleet, the power of our weapons? They seem to regard it as a spectacle rather than a threat. Vellner replied carefully. We intercepted communications, suggesting they believe our arrival is either a hoax or some elaborate marketing campaign. Many of them are using it as an excuse to create what they call memes. Turvok turned sharply. Explain this meme. Vellner hesitated, struggling to find words to encapsulate humanity's baffling behavior. It appears to be a method of humor and satire, Executor. They create simplistic images and videos, often mocking us or minimizing the gravity of our declaration. Mocking us? Turvok's voice dropped to a dangerous growl. Show me. At his command, a holographic display materialized in the air before him. The screen flickered to life, displaying a series of intercepted images and videos from Earth's networks. The first was an edited photo of Turvok himself, his imposing figure crudely replaced with a cartoonish character wearing sunglasses and a party hat. The caption read, Galactic invasion? Nah, just here to vibe. Another showed a compilation of human celebrities reenacting Turvok's speech in exaggerated, comedic tones, culminating in a joke about humanity's resilience. Turvok's jaw tightened as he watched. They laugh at us, he muttered, his voice seething with barely contained fury. Vellner bowed his head. It appears so, Executor. The room fell silent as Turvok paced across the bridge, his armored boots clanging against the polished floor. They mock our power. They dismiss our authority. This is an insult to the Empire itself. He stopped abruptly, turning to Vellner. And what are their governments? Surely their leaders understand the gravity of our presence. Vellner consulted a data pad, his crystalline fingers glinting in the ambient light. Their governments are fragmented, Executor. While some factions advocate for diplomacy, others argue over jurisdiction and funding for planetary defense. A significant portion appears to believe our declaration was a misinterpreted natural phenomenon. Turvok clenched his fists, his golden armor groaning under the pressure. They are fools, he hissed, but their ignorance will not protect them. We shall show them the full might of the Zarnak Empire. Prepare the fleet for a show of force. The first move. The Zarnak fleet moved into a tighter formation, their sleek, obsidian ships gliding into position above Earth's atmosphere. At Turvok's command, a small scout vessel descended to the surface, its mission simple: to land in a populated area and make humanity understand the seriousness of their situation. The scout ship, a compact yet intimidating craft armed with light plasma cannons, chose a rural location in Texas for its landing. The logic was straightforward. Less risk of immediate human military interference, but still enough witnesses to spread the message. The ship touched down in an open field near a cluster of farmhouses, its thrusters kicking up a whirlwind of dust and debris. The sound was deafening, the ground trembling under its weight. From the ship's hatch emerged 3 Zarnak soldiers, their armor glinting in the sunlight. They carried energy weapons, their movements deliberate and intimidating. The lead soldier activated a translation device and began to address the gathering humans, who had cautiously emerged from their homes to investigate the commotion. People of Earth, the soldier intoned, his voice amplified and mechanical. This is your final warning. Submit to the Zarnak Empire, or face utter annihilation. There was a pause. Then, from the crowd, a middle-aged man in a cowboy hat stepped forward, shotgun in hand. Well, I'll be, the man drawled. Y'all don't look like any kind of government drone I've seen before. He raised his shotgun and fired a round into the air, the sound echoing across the field. The Zarnak soldiers flinched, their helmets swiveling toward the source of the noise. The crowd began to murmur, a mix of laughter and confusion rippling through the group. The farmer lowered his weapon and shouted, "You better skedaddle back to wherever you came from before I call the sheriff." One of the Zarnak soldiers raised his weapon, preparing to retaliate, but their leader held up a hand. "Enough," he said through gritted teeth. "We returned to the ship." The soldiers retreated, their mission having achieved nothing but embarrassment. The crowd watched as the scout ship lifted off and disappeared into the sky. Within hours, videos of the encounter flooded the internet. The Empire's growing frustration. Back aboard the Imperium's Wrath, Turvok's fury was palpable. "A farmer with a primitive projectile weapon forced my soldiers to retreat," he roared, his voice reverberating across the bridge. Vellner stepped forward cautiously. "Executor, the humans' indifference is disarming. Their lack of fear is unlike anything we have encountered in our campaigns." Turvok slammed his fist against the console, the impact leaving a dent in the reinforced metal. "We cannot allow this insolence to continue. The Empire's reputation is at stake. If other worlds learn of this debacle, they may question our strength." He turned to his officers. "We must escalate. Prepare the planetary disintegration cannon." Gasps echoed across the bridge. The planetary disintegration cannon was the most powerful weapon in the Zarnak arsenal, capable of annihilating entire worlds in a single shot. Its use was reserved for only the most defiant civilizations. "But Executor," Vellner said cautiously, "deploying the cannon against a species that has not even attempted resistance may be seen as excessive." "Excessive?" Turvok snapped. "They have mocked us, Admiral. They have belittled the might of the Empire. This is no longer about conquest. It is about honor." Vellner bowed his head. "As you command, Executor." The order was given. The fleet repositioned itself, the massive cannon at the heart of the Armada beginning to charge. Its energy output was so immense that the stars themselves seemed to dim in its presence. On Earth, humanity remained blissfully unaware. The strange lights in the sky were dismissed as another odd but ultimately harmless phenomenon. Social media speculated wildly, but no one truly believed that danger loomed. As the cannon hummed with power, Turvok stood at the bridge, a grim smile on his face. "Let them mock us now," he murmured. "Let them see what defiance brings." The charge reached its peak, the cannon ready to unleash its apocalyptic fury. But then, something unexpected happened, something that would change the course of the war forever. The disintegration cannon glowed ominously, a swirling vortex of pure destruction at its core. The bridge of the Imperium's Wrath buzzed with tension as High Executive Turvok prepared to issue the final command. Around him, officers and engineers worked feverishly, their faces etched with the fear and excitement that accompanied the use of the Empire's most devastating weapon. "Executor," Admiral Vellner said, his voice tinged with unease. "The cannon is fully charged. We await your order." Turvok raised a hand, his golden eyes fixed on the planet below. "Let this be a lesson to the galaxy," he declared. "Defiance against the Zarnak Empire will always." Before he could finish, an alarm blared across the bridge. A junior officer turned to face Turvok, their expression one of confusion and panic. "Executor, we're detecting a hostile signal emanating from the planet's surface." Turvok's brow furrowed. "Hostile signal? From Earth? Explain." The officer scrambled to interpret the data. "It appears to be an electromagnetic pulse, but the frequency is highly irregular. It's interfering with our systems." Another alarm sounded, and the ship shook violently. Lights flickered as sparks erupted from several consoles. The energy field surrounding the disintegration cannon began to destabilize, its once orderly vortex of power fracturing into chaotic bursts. "What is happening?" Turvok roared. Vellner hurried to another station, reviewing the incoming data. His crystalline face darkened as he turned back to Turvok. Executor, the humans have inadvertently disrupted our weapon systems. Their signal is flooding our frequencies, overloading critical components. The hostile signal was not, in fact, an intentional act of defiance. On the surface of Earth, in a small suburban garage in California, a teenager named Ethan Nguyen had been running a live stream of his attempt to hack into the Zarnak fleet's communications. Armed with nothing more than a high-powered antenna, a jury-rigged computer, and a lot of caffeine, Ethan was convinced he could prank the aliens. His live stream, titled Hacking the Galactic Empire, Can It Be Done?, had attracted a modest audience of a few thousand viewers. Ethan's plan was simple. Use his cobbled-together system to send an audio message to the aliens, perhaps something ridiculous like a rickroll. As Ethan fiddled with the settings, he unknowingly stumbled onto a frequency that directly interfered with the Zarnak fleet's advanced systems. His rudimentary setup, by sheer accident, generated a chaotic electromagnetic pulse that resonated with the fleet's weapon controls. "Guys, I think I just did something," Ethan said, leaning closer to the screen. The chat exploded with comments, ranging from disbelief to encouragement. Unknown to him, his prank was wreaking havoc aboard the Imperium's Wrath. The Empire in chaos. On the bridge, the situation was rapidly deteriorating. The disintegration cannon's energy vortex had spiraled out of control, sending shockwaves through the fleet. Smaller ships struggled to maintain their positions as feedback from the cannon caused their systems to malfunction. "Executor, the cannon is destabilizing," an engineer shouted. "If we don't shut it down, it could." A deafening explosion cut the engineer off. The energy vortex collapsed inward before erupting in a massive wave of plasma that engulfed several nearby ships. The Imperium's Wrath shuddered as the shockwave rippled through its hull, disabling secondary systems and plunging parts of the ship into darkness. Turvok staggered but quickly regained his composure. "Status report." Vellner's voice was grim. "We've lost 6 ships, Executor. The cannon is inoperable, and our fleet's communication systems are still being disrupted by the human signal." Turvok's fist clenched. "How is this possible? These creatures are primitives. They cannot possibly—" Another officer interrupted, their voice trembling. "Executor, the signal isn't an organized attack. It appears to be random." Turvok stared at the officer, his mind struggling to process the implications. "Random? You mean to tell me that this chaos is not intentional?" "Yes, Executor," the officer confirmed. "It seems to be the result of a poorly constructed transmission device. The humans likely don't even realize what they've done." For a moment, the bridge was silent, save for the distant hum of damaged systems. Turvok's anger boiled over. "We are the Zarnak Empire, the pinnacle of galactic power, and we are being undone by a random accident." Earth reacts. Back on Earth, Ethan Nguyen was oblivious to the chaos he had caused. His live stream audience had grown exponentially, with viewers tuning in from across the globe to witness his alien prank. "Dude, I think I actually sent the message," Ethan exclaimed, grinning at his screen. His chat erupted in celebration, with messages like "You're a legend" and "Earth's greatest hacker" flooding in. Elsewhere, news outlets were beginning to report strange phenomena. Amateur astronomers observed several explosions in the night sky, while military analysts speculated about a possible malfunction within the alien fleet. Meanwhile, social media was ablaze with theories and memes. A clip of a Zarnak ship exploding, captioned, "When the Wi-Fi signal is too strong." A photoshopped image of Ethan's face on a superhero body labeled "Defender of Earth." A short video of people cheering, with the text, "Ethan accidentally saves the planet." Governments scrambled to analyze the situation, but without clear evidence of an immediate threat, they maintained their policy of cautious observation. Humanity, for the most part, carried on as usual. A new plan. Aboard the Imperium's Wrath, Turvok struggled to contain his fury. The fleet was in disarray, and the humans remained frustratingly oblivious to their near destruction. Executor, Velner said cautiously, perhaps we should reconsider our approach. Turvok glared at him. Are you suggesting we retreat? No, Executor, Velner replied. But these humans are not like the species we have conquered before. Their chaos is their strength. They do not fear us because they cannot comprehend us. Perhaps brute force is not the answer. Turvok's golden eyes narrowed. Then what do you propose? Negotiation, Velner said. Not as equals, but as conquerors offering terms. If we can convince their leaders that resistance is futile, they may submit willingly. Turvok considered the suggestion. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but the alternative, a prolonged campaign against an unpredictable and chaotic foe, was even less appealing. Very well, he said finally. Send a message to their leaders. Offer them terms of surrender. But make it clear, this is their final chance. The offer. Hours later, another holographic projection appeared in the skies above Earth. This time, Turvok's tone was measured, though no less commanding. People of Earth, he began, you have demonstrated your ingenuity, albeit unintentionally. But do not mistake your temporary success for true victory. The Zarnak Empire remains the most powerful force in the galaxy. However, in recognition of your unique nature, we extend an offer. Surrender now, and you will be granted the privilege of serving the Empire. Resist further, and we will unleash our full might upon your world. As the message ended, humanity's response was swift and predictable. Social media erupted with jokes, protests, and debates. Late-night comedians quipped about Earth's accidental heroes, and Ethan and Gwen became an overnight sensation. For the Zarnak Empire, the battle was far from over. But for humanity, it was just another day in the unpredictable, chaotic dance of existence. High Executor Turvok stood in his private quarters aboard the Imperium's Wrath, staring out at the planet that had humiliated his empire. He felt the sting of humiliation. His fleet, the most advanced in the galaxy, had been brought to the brink of collapse by a species that appeared incapable of even unified governance. Executor, a response from the humans, Admiral Velner announced, entering the room cautiously. Turvok turned, his golden eyes narrowing. Show me. The hologram flickered to life, revealing a council of human leaders. Their expressions ranged from bemused to bored, their body language casual, almost dismissive. The one in the center, a man with graying hair and a diplomatic air, spoke first. High Executor Turvok, on behalf of humanity, we reviewed your offer. We regret to inform you that Earth will not be surrendering. However, we are open to further discussions, should you wish to clarify your intentions. Turvok's jaw tightened. Clarify my intentions? What further clarification could they need? They're stalling, Velner suggested. Perhaps they believe time is on their side. Time will not save them, Turvok growled. He dismissed the hologram with a wave of his hand. Ready the fleet for orbital bombardment. If they will not kneel, they will burn. A world in chaos, yet unbothered. On Earth, news of the Zarnak Empire's response spread quickly. Media outlets debated whether humanity's defiance was bold or foolish, while ordinary citizens went about their lives with a mix of curiosity and apathy. In New York City, a protest erupted in Times Square, not against the alien invasion, but against a new movie release schedule. In Tokyo, a group of teenagers used drones to reenact scenes from the Alien Declaration, complete with light shows and comedic voiceovers. Across the globe, humanity seemed to treat the impending threat as just another event in the chaos of everyday life. Ethan and Gwen, now an internet celebrity, had been invited onto a popular talk show. Sitting under bright studio lights, he fielded questions about his accidental heroism. So, Ethan, the host began, leaning forward with a grin. How does it feel to be the guy who saved Earth by accident? Ethan shrugged, laughing nervously. Honestly, I didn't think it'd work. I was just trying to mess around and see if I could, you know, get their attention. I didn't expect all this. The audience erupted into laughter and applause. Ethan had become a symbol of humanity's unintentional resilience, a reflection of their chaotic, unpredictable nature that the Zarnak Empire struggled to understand. The Empire strikes again. Above Earth, the Zarnak fleet repositioned itself. Although the disintegration cannon was no longer functional, the Empire still possessed enough firepower to obliterate entire continents. High Executor Turvok stood on the bridge, watching as the fleet prepared to unleash its wrath. Admiral Vellner, he commanded, target their largest population centers. Begin with their capitals. Let them witness the price of defiance. The fleet's weapon systems powered up, their energy readings visible from Earth's surface. A sense of unease spread among humanity's governments and militaries. For the first time, the world seemed to grasp the severity of the situation. But just as the Zarnak ships prepared to fire, an unexpected phenomenon occurred. Executor, an officer reported, "We're detecting an anomaly in their communication networks. It's broadcasting directly to us." "What now?" Turvok snapped. A new signal flooded the Zarnak fleet systems. This one wasn't chaotic interference, but something far more insidious. It was music, the power of pop culture. The song began with a steady beat, followed by an upbeat melody and a cheerful, human voice. It was a pop song, catchy, repetitive, and utterly alien to the Zarnak. The bridge of the Imperium's wrath filled with the unfamiliar sound, and Turvok's crew reacted with confusion and discomfort. "Shut it off!" Turvok barked. "We can't," the communications officer replied. "It's overriding our systems. The signal is bouncing between satellites, creating a self-sustaining loop. It's everywhere." Across the fleet, Zarnak soldiers paused their duties as the music invaded every corner of their ships. Some tried to block it out, while others found themselves inexplicably compelled to listen. The song's infectious rhythm seemed to bypass their logical minds, planting itself firmly in their consciousness. On Earth, humanity watched with glee. The song, chosen by a coalition of internet users, was deliberately selected for its overwhelming catchiness and nonsensical lyrics. The plan, dubbed Operation Earworm, had been a last-ditch effort by Earth's hackers and musicians to disrupt the Zarnak fleet. Unintended consequences. At first, the Zarnak soldiers resisted. They covered their ears, disabled their audio systems, and tried to focus on their mission. But the music persisted, and its effects grew more profound. For a species like the Zarnak, whose culture valued order and precision above all else, the chaotic nature of human music was utterly alien. The repetitive chorus and unpredictable rhythm created a cognitive dissonance they couldn't reconcile. On the bridge of the Imperium's wrath, Turvok himself began to feel the effects. The song's rhythm seemed to pulse through his body, disrupting his ability to focus. "Admiral Vellner," he said through gritted teeth, "how long until we can neutralize this weapon?" Vellner hesitated, his crystalline form trembling slightly. "Executor, it may take hours. The signal is resilient." "Hours?" Turvok roared. "We don't have hours." But the damage was already done. Across the fleet, discipline broke down as soldiers succumbed to the song's infectious energy. Some abandoned their posts, unable to resist tapping their claws to the beat. Others tried to suppress the urge to sing along, their voices creating a discordant echo that only added to the chaos. Earth's response. On Earth, humanity celebrated. Operation Earworm had not only disrupted the Zarnak fleet, but also demonstrated the unique power of human culture. Across social media, people shared videos of themselves dancing to the song, declaring it the anthem of the resistance. Governments, recognizing the importance of maintaining morale, encouraged a trend. The song was played on public broadcasts, in schools, and even at military bases. It became a unifying force in a way that no political leader or treaty ever had. Ethan Nguyen, now a central figure in the resistance, was invited to collaborate with the musicians behind the song. Together, they worked to create an even more potent version, blending elements of Earth's diverse musical traditions. The Zarnak Retreat. After hours of relentless exposure, the Zarnak fleet was in disarray. High Executor Turvok, his pride shattered, made the difficult decision to withdraw. "Admiral Vellner," he said, his voice weary, "order the fleet to retreat. We will regroup and reassess our strategy." "Yes, Executor," Vellner replied. As the Zarnak ships began their retreat, Earth erupted in celebration. Fireworks lit up the night sky, and humanity reveled in its unexpected victory. A new galactic era. Months later, the Zarnak Empire officially recognized Earth as a protected world, citing its unconventional and destabilizing cultural influence. For humanity, the victory was more than just a defense of their planet. It was a testament to their resilience and creativity. In the face of an overwhelming force, they had discovered that their greatest weapon wasn't technology or strategy, but the chaotic, unifying power of their culture. And as Earth returned to its chaotic normalcy, one thing became clear: humanity would never be underestimated again.